Hey there, this is Dave Bensman with Bensman Home Computer Repair, and today I'd like to talk about whether you should repair or replace your desktop computer. There are a lot of factors that go into what you should do in this situation that you find yourself in. Maybe you got some malware, maybe you've got a hardware problem, and I just like to go over the decision tree that you're going to follow when that happens to decide whether you should repair or replace your computer. So let's say you've got a computer that is a lot like this computer. This computer is pretty old. It's got 4 gigs of memory. It has a Pentium dual core processor, which is about 8 or 9 years old. And it has a standard 80 gig hard drive. So if this computer were to break, I would probably just replace it under any circumstances. And the reason for that is that it's not going to run Windows 10 well at all. Now, if you look at the specs for Windows 10, it'll say, yeah, all you need is a gigahertz processor and all you need is a gigabyte of memory. But to run it well, to run it so that it's stable and you're not waiting around for it all the time and it's not super crashy, you really need 4 gigs of memory, and you need an i3 processor in it. And ideally, you should actually have 8 gigs of memory to run it well. So if a computer like this got a virus or the motherboard went, or the hard drive went, I would probably, even if I could fix it myself, I probably wouldn't, and I'd probably just go out and get a new computer. Now, when we say a new computer, what we're talking about is a computer like this. Um, this is the computer that I would recommend most people get, no matter what they're going to use it for. Unless you're a gamer, this is what I would go with. And even if you were a gamer, you could take this computer, you could replace the power supply and put in a video card, and it would probably be fine for running most video games. But if you're not a gamer, then what I would do is I would get this machine. It's got a 10th generation i5 processor, very fast. It's got your basic graphics. It comes with Windows 10 pre-installed. It's got 8 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, and it's got a half a terabyte, 512 gig PCIe NVMe solid state drive. Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is the hard drive in this new computer isn't a standard hard drive. It doesn't have any moving parts. And because it's basically just a circuit board that can hold your information and your operating system, it's going to be way faster than a standard hard drive. So if you had a machine, a computer that was spec'd out just like this, but it had a standard hard drive, it would be a lot slower because every time the computer needed to access information, it would have to wait until like a platter was spinning around and a seek arm was finding that information. This computer doesn't have to do that. It just recalls the information like a tablet would. If we go back to this computer right here, I mean, you're still looking at an 80 gig hard drive. Now you could upgrade that 80 gig hard drive maybe to a solid state drive, but it would still be working with that Pentium dual core. And I would really just probably ditch this if you had any problems whatsoever with it. Now, if your computer looks like this is a newer machine. Now, this actually has an i3 processor. It's an older i3 processor, and it has 4 gigs of memory, and it has a 250 gig hard drive, standard hard drive. Now, the thing about Windows 10 is it requires 32 gigs pretty much on average for just the operating system. So if you had this hard drive and it was functioning properly, you could run Windows 10 on it. And as a matter of fact, you can see here it is shipping with Windows 10, and it would run okay. It wouldn't run great because it only has 4 gigs of memory. It has a slower processor, but it would run okay. And if I had a problem with this, if I had malware, let's say, would I pay somebody to fix this? No, I would not. because you're going to pay somebody, you know, 100, 200 bucks, maybe 300 bucks to back all your data up and to reinstall the operating system, all your applications, all your devices, and that really wouldn't be worth it on a computer like this because we don't know how long the motherboard's going to last. This is also an older machine, and you know, so you could pay somebody a couple $100 to fix it, and then 2 days later the motherboard goes belly up, and there goes your $200. So if I had a system like this and that had malware on it, if I could do the work myself, I would fix it. If I didn't want to go and buy a new computer because I was trying to save up for something or whatever, yeah, I would do the work myself. I would fix it. I would not pay somebody else to fix this computer if it was just a software issue, just needed an operating system reinstall, something like that. Now, if it was something more serious, mainly the motherboard, if I could get the motherboard super cheap, you know, on the order of 50 bucks or something like that, and I might do the work myself to replace the motherboard. But I don't think I would pay anybody. I might pay somebody 150 bucks to replace the motherboard in this, but maybe not, because then the hard drive could go, and then you're back, you know, to square one. So yeah, I probably wouldn't work. I wouldn't fix this if I had to pay somebody to do it. But if I could do the work myself, this I would fix. Yeah. Now this computer right here, um, this is a pretty decent machine, and it's fairly new. It's like a couple years old. That's got an i5 processor in it. That's one full family of processors faster than the i3 that was in the previous machine. And it's only a couple years old, this processor. So it's got that. It's got a terabyte, which is 1,000 GB standard drive, and it's got 8 gigs of DDR4. This machine is what I call on the bubble in terms of whether you would pay somebody to fix it. I might pay somebody a couple $100 to fix this computer if the hard drive diagnostic said everything was working fine, and then we knew it was just some sort of malware issue, or maybe the operating system had crashed or something like that. I might go ahead and pay somebody to maybe even $300 to fix this computer. Because it should go, seeing as it's only a couple years old, it should go another couple of years. If you notice the warranties that people like Dell offer, they will sell you a 4-year warranty. Now it'll be expensive because they expect something to go wrong, but they will sell you the warranty because they expect most of the machines, the vast majority, to go longer than 4 years. So yeah, I would pay somebody to fix this. I would definitely fix it myself if I could, but I would pay somebody to fix this if I did not want to go out and buy a new computer. And that brings us to this computer. This computer is more expensive than the new computer that we were looking at from Dell, and the reason it's more expensive is because it has an i7 processor, not an i5 in it. So it's going to be a faster computer than the brand new one from Dell that we were looking at. And it has the 10th generation i7 processor. It's got half a terabyte solid state drive, and it's got 8 gigs of DDR4 memory. So it's going to be very fast. So I'd easily put $300 into repairing this if it was only like a year and a couple months old, because it would definitely be worth it. This is a very nice machine, very fast machine, and replacing it would cost you, yeah, $1,000. Now, I would make sure that if you're within your manufacturer's warranty, that you do want to call Dell if anything goes wrong with your computer, or whoever makes your computer. Most of them have a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. You may want to call a technician to help ease that process along. Maybe have them intercede on your behalf with the manufacturer. But just keep in mind that almost all computers are going to have a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. Now, you just want to keep in mind that when you're making any kind of decision, that replacing the computer is going to cost you, in this case, $610, but that's not the entire cost of moving from one computer to another. Another cost is transferring your data, setting up the computer with whatever applications you have. So let's say you had 60 gigs worth of music you needed moved over and you couldn't do it yourself, you're going to pay a technician an hourly rate to do that. And you're going to pay a technician an hourly rate to back up your Quicken, your QuickBooks, your Outlook, all those programs. Your antivirus is going to have to be re-downloaded and reinstalled. All that kind of adds up. So you're not just looking at the cost. It's not, you know, $300 to fix a computer versus $600 to buy a new one. It's $300 to fix, you know, a computer like this, plus $300 to transfer your data and set this up, plus the cost of a new computer. So it's roughly, an estimate would be $300 to fix this versus $900 to purchase and set this up. The question isn't, you know, are you going to save money from doing one or the other? The question is, you're going to spend your $300 either way. Where would it make the most sense to put that $300? If you are in the Memphis area and you have questions about this, you can always give me a ring at 901-830-4362. That's Bensman Home Computer Repair, 901-830-4362. I can come to your home, I can take a look at your computer, I can give you an assessment as to what you should do with it, and then I can take care of whatever needs to be done with it. Please like and share these videos, and please subscribe to my channel, and please stay safe.